Alrighty, what are some learnings outside of what you've already planned to share? What are some learnings, both successes and opportunities to grow? What do
I
y'all?
learned I learned that there is never enough time and you just have to do the best you can with what you got and and be at peace with that. You can always go back and change. I mean, an artist always says that their work is never done, even when it's presented. There's always something that you can improve on and change. But the whole point of this is it's a learning experience. So whatever, what we didn't finish is okay. We can reflect on that and move on.
Fair. Any other contributions to successes, opportunities to grow, your learnings before we get started on presentations?
So I'll go next. For me, the internet. Make sure your internet is good and make sure you're available to team members because when you have team members that are not accessible, you can't communicate with them, it can cause a lot of lag or backlog in things. And I would say another important thing that I learned is that um, planning is important. Had I known that just how important it is, how to divvy tasks, how to divide and conquer effectively, how to you read about it, you're like, it even says like make sure you're doing all these things, but if you don't actually do those things and you're like, yeah, that's just fluff, that's just an intro, uh, you can get off the rails really quickly. So having a strong team lead, having someone to keep you on track, keep you accountable, I think is sometimes it felt more important than doing the coding itself sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to add on. I feel like the first thing you should in this fast pace, right? You should aim small. Like we all add all kinds of fancy things in our project to show it fancy. But the first thing we need to have a functional thing to deliver. The second, maybe like as we are a group of team, it's very difficult. I mean, it's very difficult to uh sorry, I was thinking. So it's it's better like we can when we say something, we can think it before we say it out. Uh yeah, that's it.
Alrighty. Okay, it looks like everybody's here now. Let's jump in. I'm gonna have our red team start us off. And then blue, you can follow up. We have our green team here in support of you all. Yay. After you are done presenting, or whoever's not actively talking in the moment that y'all get started, please throw your links to your project into your hackathon doc next to your team name or your team section. I guess red is not really a name or blue, but it could be. So please make sure we have those links there so we don't have to go chase them down. I should be hearing from everyone in your team as you present. Alrighty. Red, are you all queued up and ready to go? I can hit my timer when you're ready.
Give us just a second. Did I don't think we decided who's presenting yet. So let's just really quickly just kind of get acclimated a little bit. CE and Adrian, does anyone want to volunteer and do presentation? I don't mind doing it, but I just want to extend the opportunity to folks.
Do we all three need to present? Or only one of us need to present?
So we all need to talk. Oh, but Daima's about to say something here.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. So you have your demo presentation outlined at the bottom of that doc. Everyone in the team should be presenting at some point. Presenting meaning speaking about something. So maybe one person screen sharing the whole time and then they like move their mouse if that's convenient for you. Or maybe you've arranged to just screen share and show out specific areas based on the person. So this is what we're looking for your 8 to 10 minutes of presentation.
Okay, sweet. And a really quick Daima, I don't think we have edit access to add the link.
Link?
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and update that. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, can we get a link to where this is supposed to be going so I can see? I'm not really sure where everyone's pointing to right now.
Gotcha. So I mentioned just adding your link right next to your team. So you could even turn this into descriptive link, do a Command K and throw that link in there for Team Red and respectively for Team Blue. But this is the area, wherever you decide to throw it.
Do we want to leave live demo and technical highlights to our team lead, Derry? And yeah, I'm okay with both, like the other three. Adrian, which one do you prefer?
Yeah, I can do challenges and learning and feature enhancements and career connection.
Okay, yeah, okay, then I will start. Derry, do you want to share the screen? You are muted.
Thank you for that. Do you want me to share my screen and show the documentation for the hackathon or our project?
Uh, um, do you want to show PP PowerPoint and then to live demo, we can show like the live demo?
Yep. Okay. So let me open up our Canvas slides. Perfect. And then yeah, I can talk throughout and then maybe do the demonstration for our application. So we can do that. But yeah, okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and share my screen now. Let me share my full screen. Share. Perfect. You make this nice and big. And yeah, Daima, whenever you're ready, we're ready to start.
Alrighty, time.
Okay.
All right, sweet.
Hi everyone, we're Team Red and we are presenting our project for our first hackathon called Tech Deck. I'm not sure if you guys have the feeling as a job seeker and new developer, we spend a lot of time learning technical concepts, but remembering them long term is super hard. Um, I don't know you guys, but me, I rely on flashcards or notes, but existing tools are either too generic, don't reflect interview style questions, or don't let you organize content by difficulty or topic. We wanted to solve the problem how to make technical learning more structured, interactive, and tailored to job preparation. Um, our application is called HackDeck. HackDeck is a full stack flashcard application designed to help job seekers and learners study technical concepts more effectively. Users can view one flashcard at a time, flip cards to review answers, navigate through cards using prep or next button, filter cards and create new cards, delete cards when they're no longer relevant. The goal is to make studying feel focused and intentional rather than overwhelming. I'll hand it to Derek.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Dari, and I will be doing the technical presentation of our application. So let me go back here. and make this smaller. Actually, yes, let's escape that. And let's go to our tech deck. So here is our tech deck. And the way that this works is we have a React front end that will display our front end UI. For the back end, we went with Express and we also added Nodemon as well, so it can re-render our back end very quickly. We do have some API calls as well, so we kind of created some of our routes, which you can kind of see here. Oh, well, actually, because we connected it to our backend, we have a Supabase backend that we connected it to, and a database, I mean. And because we connected it to the database, you can't automatically log in, well, access the backend through a URL, which is kind of like what I did here. That's why it's giving the error. Because you have to go through the application. So you have to go through the backend, and then the backend accesses the database. This is to protect the database from any, malicious into any users trying to maliciously get in there. But anywho, going back to our flashcards, as you can see, we have some flashcards here. Users are able to navigate through the flashcards and answer, kind of think about, all right, well, what is this question asking? And then thinking about the answer. So what's a function that runs after the server starts? Question. I don't know. Maybe let's say I say it's the, I don't know, a soda function. And that's wrong. That's not. It's app.listen. And then this was supposed to be easy for me. And because I'm brand new to app development and, full stack development, I didn't know. And so there's a feature that we were working on that we have not implemented that I can change this. So if this wasn't easy for me, I can change it to medium or hard. In this case, I thought it was a soda function. Clearly it's hard for me, so I would be able to update this from easy to hard. And users are able to navigate through all of these cards. Users are also able to create a new card. So I can say, what is a presentation? And then for my answer, I can say a presentation is when you present to an audience. And then for this one, obviously the category is not here, so I can add category and say tech, let me see, technical interview. Let's just add that. And then difficulty, I can put easy because I mean that's pretty easy, but let's also correct that there. And then create. And so this updated here. So now I'm able to see that my presentation is now here. And if we go to our Supabase backend, we can see, yes, the question was added to our database and the presentation is now there. The question is now there. Users are able to create their categories and filter through them. We don't have that feature here just yet. And because of that, users are not able to filter through them now. But let's say I'm going through some questions and, oh, see, this is a typo. This is not a question that should be in my flashcard deck. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this card. Okay, and delete. And now, well, this should have deleted the flashcard, but it didn't. So that's a bug. But this card should have been deleted, and then in the back end, it would reflect that the card was deleted. But in this case, it is not reflecting that. And so users are also able, so I already demonstrated that users are able to create their cards, and yeah. And this is Tech Deck. This is your, master your development journey with your interactive flashcards. And so, yeah, this conclude. Well, actually, let me go a little bit into the code because that's also something that we should be talking about. What brought our application to life is the form. So the form specifically brings this here. So this form is what what users are able to create their new questions. And so I created a component, well, collectively, because we all collaborated on this, but we all created a form component where users are able to create their new card. And so users are also able to set their difficulty and set the category. I decided to implement this const array of objects so that I can iterate through it in a map function instead of adding them, because if if we decide to add a feature and we're adding like extra, maybe like we'll add like extra easy or just extra hard, so extra stuff. So it's able to iterate through all that very easily. And same thing with categories. These are just the set categories for now. But another feature that we were thinking about implementing, but obviously we didn't have any time, was to grab um, all of the categories in the database so that it's iterating through them. And because it's not able to iterate through them right now, and there's only like a set amount of categories, then obviously the users are not able to see that just yet. But the plan is to be able to pull it from the database and then filter through them. Well, not filter through them, but use the map what is it function, so that it's showing all of the categories within the database. And so that's the form. We also have a flashcard component as well that's creating the flashcards that you see here. So these guys right here.
You stop presenting so that I can hear from Adrian as well.
Oh, sure. Yes. Here we go. All right.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Dari. So some challenges and learning with this. I learned that it's very this fast. It was like fast-paced sort of environment I've never been exposed to, so that was really an interesting experience, and I appreciated C and Dari being patient with me and guiding me through like linking a piece of or making like a back end functionality and just like a post and just like basics that I'm kind of still struggling with. So it was nice having a good support group there and then feature enhancements. Dari mentioned the mostly where adding difficulty levels and all that. And then the career connection. I think it's a good piece for a portfolio because it shows like a learning process since we are career switchers. Like the idea of like space repetition and just constant exposure, daily exposure to stuff we're learning, and I think it shows that pretty well. So I think that's all I had to say about the project.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I just want to add this last thing. I think C wanted to add something as well, but uh, this project, we cross collaborated through everything. And we were all very encouraging because everyone has their strengths in specific areas. I prefer back end. I'm very scared of the of front ends, but I threw some colors up in there that, made the page, really pop out. And I tried to make it like Tectona themed a little bit. So that, that was my contribution to that. And I just appreciated like how encouraging we all were to cross collaborate, even though we were uncomfortable doing so. So that was pretty great. And then I know that you wanted to add something as well.
Oh yeah, I just want to add, probably that's like the branch thing. The delay function is working on my end. If you guys have time, I can quickly show you guys. Yeah, I'll probably just delay that. Yeah, I should be working. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
just
Okay.
add on that. Yeah, probably we need to work on our branch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the delete
Yeah,
the delete function
it's
works. All
actually
right.
working. Yeah, it's great working with you guys. Yeah, like people have different knowledge, but we all are like very supportive and uh cover on each other. So I really appreciate it.
Awesome. I do have some questions. So, with your delete working on one branch and not working on one branch, can someone that did not work in that area of the code talk to me about the distinct changes between those branches and why one branch did work and one did not?
Well, I would think we're presenting on the live demo was on a different branch. So that's my thoughts on that.
That's exactly what happened. I was in the development branch and I forgot to check out to the main, which the main has all the bells and whistles. So yeah, that's
Gotcha.
ex
So if I were to bring this up right now and switch across branches just so that we can talk through it together, this is currently your main branch. Is that what you mentioned with the develop branch?
So if you pop down, the development branch is yeah, open that one more time. Is yep, that's it.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I see this here for your delete flashcards. Awesome. Now let's go over to a new tab just so that we can have it. Sounds like Adrian is the one that might be able to speak to this. What was the alternative branch? So that was develop here. What was the
Yeah, it wasn't main.
Oh, was it main? Okay. I'll go there and I will go down to here. Alrighty, so we have this work here on main and this work here on develop. It looks like those might be the same. So maybe Dari, which branch were you on? You were on develop.
Yeah, I'm actually on actually let me go back and check and see. Yeah, I'm actually on the development branch. Yep.
Got it. C, which branch were you on?
Actually, my back end crashed.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened. My back end crashed. I don't know what I did though. It says NodeMon app crashed, waiting for file changes before starting.
Got it.
So that's what it was.
Awesome. I have a couple more questions, but I want to check in with Naomi. Do you have any questions for the team?
Not at the moment. I enjoyed the presentation. I really like the app, how it works. I can see you put in a lot of work. So yeah, great
Yeah.
job.
Awesome. Okay, so my follow-up for all three of you, not just one person. How might you approach making sure that someone else that wants to use your uh, app is able to recreate your database? And I'd love to hear from all three of you. And if you don't know the answer to that, how might you figure it out? What would you look up?
We put that in README. Adrian, do you want to share that? Yeah, Adrian wrote that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Yep.
let me see. I'm trying to go off memory, but let me try to find it.
Adrian, would you like me to share my screen? Because I have I
Oh,
have
you have it up?
the
Sure.
yep, I have it up.
Thanks.
All right, for sure. Let's do some teamwork here. So share that. Here it is.
Cool. So yeah, so the how to run. So there's so the clone repo, and then you change directories to the backend and run npm install and to install dependencies, and then create the env file and add the database URL in that file, and yeah, run the npm run dev command, and then once it's loaded up, go to your browser and then either type that in or that localhost or click on it, and then you change directories to your front end and run npm install and install dependencies, and then the on that env file add v backend URL, and then run npx v command and open that localhost in the browser to see Vite running. and this should display the app as it is now. So
Yeah. What we are
yeah.
missing is the database. So adding instructions to this description on how to create a Supabase. Maybe suggest like the easiest way is to create a Supabase database where users are able to create their password and get their link. Because ultimately, in order to connect to a Supabase, you would have to first create your database and then create the table for the database so that users are able to access the specific database, the specific table for this application. And then adding those instructions to the README, because without that, they won't be able to access the database. And obviously, I don't want them to access our database because that's our database. And who knows who's accessing um, this project. And so yeah, but that's what we're missing. We need to add how to create the how to connect to the Supabase database and how
And
to create the table.
and that's why we in step 4 we said you have to create your .env file because we made it private. We put it in to .get ignore, so you guys are not gonna see it.
See our keys.
Awesome. Okay, I just have one final question. I saw that y'all got fancy and used the use effect in your looks like your app.jsx. Tell me, what are you doing there? It looks like you're calling a fetch cards. How are you using that? Why is it important? And if you didn't have that, how might you attempt to use the same functionality? I can share my screen if it's helpful.
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay. Okay. So you're importing it here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I go down here and I see use effect. And it looks like you are leveraging the fetch cards. You have a commentary of only fetch once and then an empty array.
Yeah, so why we use effect is to avoid the side effect of like rendering. So at like every time when uh the page renders, it will run like fetch cards, but we don't want to. Sometimes you don't want it to like render it every time, so that's why we use effect.
Okay.
And the reason why I comment only fetch once is because the empty array the empty array thing, so it only fetch once. But if you put some like keywords into it, it will fetch whenever it has the keywords.
Awesome. Thank you all for your presentation. Team, was Team Red, right? Team Red. Yes, Team Red. Wonderful. Let's give it up for Team Red, y'all. Woo!
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it. We'd love to be here. And if you need us to build another project, we're here for that.
Awesome. All right, let's switch gears. Team Blue, please get queued up. And let me know when you're ready for me to hit my timer.
Okay, I'm almost ready. I'm just gonna share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we decided on a job application tracker. Our problem that we were trying to solve is that job seekers are often having a hard time navigating and storing all their data and information, and sometimes things slip through the cracks. So
When they apply, they forget where they apply or to follow up on that. So we wanted to have a centralized area where we can keep all that data stored, and where we can change the status of each job update. So it was Shu, myself, Violetta, Casey, and Paige working on this application. Some of the deliverables that each person worked on was Shu worked on implementing the authentication flow, including the login and account creation pages, form handling, basic validation, and routing to support user access to the app and setting up the folders. I was working on building the core of the form. I developed placeholders with demo data so that later on, when we're able to implement the backend parts, we can have like a reusable components. Casey did the back end and the front end. She mostly worked on connecting the front end to the back end. And Paige built a reusable table component to display submitted jobs. She integrated my form onto the same screen and then created a dashboard to encapsulate all the functionality, keeping changes isolated from the app JSX. The dashboard serves as a routed view while the table remains a reusable component. And now we're gonna show our live demo and I will pass it on to Shu.
If you are talking, you're muted.
So this is the first page, the main page of our job tracker. So what you can say first is you are asked to log in. So at the bottom, if you don't have a account, then you can create a new account from here. And for now, because we haven't connect the backend, the front end to the database, so I cannot test with create new account and login page. But we have something of a dashboard that shows the main part of our application. So you have a company position, description, and whatever, and you can click delete or edit here. Most important, you can add a new job from here. For example, I add Google, I add SDE, and NA 25. And status applied. So I submit, you can show it shows up here. The other part is like maybe something we haven't finished yet, like here, after you logged in, here should be logged in. Yeah, this should be fixed later. That's the simple for our job application. It just shows add, create, update, delete, simple function. That's it. Thanks.
Shu, did you want to share your go over the code, your code?
Sorry.
That's okay. And the edit button and the delete button were functional on that page as well.
So as I implemented the navbar, so this is a basic structures, and here, if it's fully developed, like here should be functional. And for the sign up, it's very simple. We just have placeholder like for fetching from a position. And here is about whether your fetch is successful or not. And this part is the structure of the login form, or the sign up form. So for the login page, we have a similar structure. Basically, we use this one CSS to make the format consistent. So this part is also like to fetch from your database and to check the status and catch errors. Yeah, that's about my part.
So I will go next. Once you would log in or create an account, then you go to the dashboard. The dashboard function and the nested table there is what was my portion, my feature. So I'm going to share my screen now. So this is the dashboard JSX. This is the main container and the state owner for this feature. It manages is it modal? I'm just going to say modal because I don't know how to pronounce it. The modal open close state. So if you don't know what a modal is, because it's a little bit more advanced, it's kind of like an alert or a pop-up that comes up and you can put things in it. And so we have a form in there and we'll go over that soon. But so the dashboard manages the open and closing of that modal when you click add. And it also holds the job data, as you can see here. It also defines the add, edit, and delete handlers, which are passed down to its child components. Moving on to the the second component. So this is table.jsx. It's a presentational component that renders job data that's in the table. It receives callback functions as properties or props, and the direct user actions like editing or deleting will trigger those callbacks, which are then handled by the dashboard. And again, the dashboard is the parent. And then my last component here is the modal JSX. So this is what pops up whenever you press add. This is kind of a merge between what Violetta did, and she'll go over that portion. But just the design of the modal itself was what I created. But the modal itself handles form logic, and it uses local state for form inputs, supports creating and editing via a default value, and sends the final data back to the dashboard when the user presses the submit button. So I will pass it over to Violetta now, and I'll stop sharing my screen. Sorry, somehow. Okay. Violetta, go ahead.
Thank you, Paige. Yeah, so you'll definitely see some overlap between Pages and my code, as there was a little bit of overlap with kind of the two parts, the box, the input form, and the module. So essentially, what I did was I built the scaffold of the input box. I actually learned something new. I learned to hard code, which essentially is, I wrote it down for definition, means writing the data directly into your code instead of putting it into an input or API, for the reason that I wanted it to populate as a placeholder. So I have it here in ID1 and ID2, where I put in the name of the company, the position, description, and date applied, and the status. I then used a function to store the list of jobs and the current list of jobs. We then went down to handle the change to be able to change when everything gets refreshed or the input or input into the form. I then use set form to set the parameters of the form, and to handle all the changes or deletes when that happens. I then had input into JSX to return the components as listed here below. And that was my contribution to that part. And I will go ahead and now pass it over to Casey. You're on mute, Casey.
Can you hear me now? Okay, so I did the backend stuff and it is functioning, but we have not connected it to our front end yet. So I'm going to show you the code. Let me pull it up. Give me just 1 second. Okay. So here's our backend. We've got our server that loads everything up on the server from the backend. And then we have I used Postgres with SQLize and what else? Docker to create a Docker container for the Postgres. And so I needed like models of what it needed to look like as far as how it's going to go into the database. I needed migrations to kind of show like where it's going to go from the interface through SQLizer to create a table for the database. Then there's the config file that shows, what the database username, password, where it's going to be at, the dialect, all that good stuff. And then what else? I think I already did that one. Yeah. Anyway, oh, and this is a cedars, so it's like the examples of what it's going to be like whenever you put them in. Each individual job, because we did the job applications, and so we have like, the jobs for and all the stuff that goes with that. Like that, I didn't get to add it to the front end. Mostly because I was having a lot of trouble with getting like Postgres to run and not tell me that I didn't have a username that was Postgres. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but yeah, it's definitely like functional. We just have to add the express part to everything so that we can load it in through async awaits or whatever through the front end. I think that's it.
Thanks, everyone. I'm not
Oh,
seeing.
sorry, we're not done.
Oh,
Sorry,
sorry, Paige.
Violetta, can you do the second half of our slideshow, please, so we can cover the rest of the requirements? Sorry, Diana.
No problem.
Okay, are you able to see the slideshow?
Yes.
Okay, great. So our proposed solution for this was a job application tracker. That's a digital tools that users can organize and manage their job applications in one place. It stores all the company, the job title, description, date, and status, as well as status tracking. So applied, interview, scheduled, rejected. And here's a screenshot of the actual piece of it. So some of the key learning points that we learned is collaboration improves when roles are clear but flexible. Clear communication is important. Misunderstandings can cause more delays than lack of skill. And it was a good learning experience to work with teammates who have different styles and methods. For future enhancements, we would like to add a parse resume option. So another one will be an automatically parse job title and automate that. So using the URL, and then to be able to store the company URL. And on that note, we are ready for our Q&A.
Thanks, y'all. Casey, I noticed that you had some additional migration and seeding files. Can you bring those up again? I'm particularly interested in the migration file. I wasn't able to find those.
I I know I have two different folders that say migration, and it's really just because I did a test run on it before I actually did our own stuff, and I
Mhm.
didn't actually clean out all that stuff before I did it. But yeah, so that's like the migrations folder, but then there's no migrations in there. They're just simply like it's just a folder that I need to clean up or whatever. And then the migrations that are in here, which is this one,
Yeah, I don't see those in your project folder at all.
pushed up to GitHub.
Yeah, can you send me the link in the chat just so I can make sure I'm looking at that? I did
Uh,
see that y'all had sequelized, but I wasn't able to see definitively where it was being
okay.
used, and it could just be that maybe I didn't make it into every file. I'm particularly looking at the main branch.
Okay.
Alrighty, while you're sending that over, I noticed that y'all had some GitHub workflow built in, and so I'm curious if y'all use that as far as like the YAML files and getting your PRs labeled from someone that did not build the workflow file. Tell me about how that helped if you were able to use it.
I'll start. And so this was my first experience, um, kind of having a workflow on GitHub. It was my first exposure to it. It was a bit of a steep learning curve in the beginning for me, but ultimately, so the way our process worked was initially we had designed task tracking and management in Google Drive. We temporarily had tried Notion to see how that felt, and ultimately that it was hands down the best to just do everything within GitHub. And so Casey kind of taught me and potentially others kind of how to do issues, how to create a project and a workflow within GitHub. And I found that effective. I liked that everything was in one spot. I liked that we were able to keep track of comments and where we were working and when we were working and what everybody was working on. So for me, it was a positive experience.
Thank you. My next question is okay, so y'all use the React Router DOM, very exciting stuff. From somebody that did not implement that, please tell me how you use that in your project. For context, I'm seeing some link components, a use navigate function that you're able to use. I also see things like routes, navigate components, or tags rather, um, if that's helpful. Who did not work on the navigation or the routing? Conceptually, across your project, how might your React Router DOM have helped your project?
I'm guessing that it would make things easier to get to the navigation bar, or it would make it clear. Um, yeah, it would make it faster and clearer to get to the location that you wanted to get to in the navigation bar.
I think that this could be potentially tied to, I have a very basic understanding, but I know that it just tied to, so I had to create a dashboard because I had shoes code broke mine locally. And there was view issues. And so I'm guessing routing can fix that, or it can assign or like define views or some sort to be able to navigate those errors where potentially the wouldn't conflict. And I could be completely off.
Yeah, routing.
This,
Oh, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I thought I heard someone new trying to contribute. So everyone in the cohort will eventually get into React Router in session 2 if you are moving forward in that part of cohort. But it essentially allows you to move across your different pages in your application. So whether you want to go to a company page or an about page or whatever it is, it allows you to handle it really nicely out of the box without having to build all that yourself. So that was really cool that y'all leveraged that. My last question is, there is a parameter of IDX. I have no idea what that is. I'm just going to share my screen really quickly. Is this a key handler that you're mapping over? What is IDX?
I'm not sure, actually. I
Okay.
know that was a map for a loop that was, I think, for initially one of my piece of code, um, to loop all of this data, but I'm not really sure what IDX is.
Okay. Awesome, y'all. Thank you so much, Team Blue, for answering my questions. I actually didn't tap in. Naomi, do you have any questions to ask?
I think you actually asked the same questions I was going to ask. So, good job, team.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For the modal, did you as a team create your own modal, or did you use a dependency? And if you did use a dependency, which dependency did you use?
So I can answer that question. I created the modal, and that was it was not using a dependency. It was created from scratch. I went and looked up what modals were after being hinted by my roommates to like go look at that, hint hint. And so I pulled up documentation on that, read about it, and I looked through a few tutorials to help me come up with a very simple, basic modal design. And so I kind of followed that tutorial, and then that's how the modal was built. So it is built from scratch. There are no dependencies.
Nice, sweet, awesome. Thank you for answering my question.
And I see in the chat, I'm just going to read it off for the recording. Casey says, when I looked at it, I assumed that the IDX was how we would bring in the specific job application with its ID. Although I didn't work much on the front end except to fix some structure issues. Yeah, without a closer look, I'm assuming it's the ID. I just wasn't sure what the naming convention was. I wanted to ask y'all about that. Awesome. Well, let's give it up for Team Blue, y'all. Woo! Okay, yes. Alrighty, and we have an incoming recording from Team Green that they will throw our way into the Tech Help channel tomorrow. Cool beans. I am very, very, very proud of everyone, and I extremely excited to look forward to Team Green and what they have to present. We have a lot to reflect on come Wednesday about this hackathon and how to iterate on that in the future hackathons. I hope you will allow your brains to turn off and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. For teams red and blue. Team green, we are excited to see what you got. Bye, everybody.